Linguistically, the United States is a kind of island of people who often speak their own languages at home, yet are united with their neighbors through English. And that commonality is odd, as it causes us to often overlook the diversity that we're so well known for. Probably the first linguistic shock I ever experienced was hearing German for the first time around the age of 10 on TV. I couldn't comprehend the idea that the human mouth could produce such bold sounds. And it's interesting because my own kids are growing up in Europe and they can say a few words in German. They speak Polish and English fluently as native speakers. The geography of Europe requires its citizens to confront languages and in some cases learn them.
Back in the USA, it's easy to find an excuse not to learn because it's not an immediate necessity to do so. Having had the pleasure of learning a second language myself, I now behold it as a treasure that I could not imagine life to be without. And I'd love to share this discovery with other curious minds.
So on today's episode of Kult America, in partnership with Babbel, I am going to share my personal reasons for learning a second language. First off, I have always felt terribly embarrassed by people who move to a new country and take zero interest in the local language.
Über Reutlingen, Betzingen. Abfahrt 21:31 Uhr. Vorsicht bei der Einfahrt.
The language of a country is essential in unlocking its culture. Expression in music, film, and theater often convey timeless human emotions that could move most people. However, when these gestures are phrased into the mentality of a foreign language, it can impact you in ways unexpected, forcing you to re-examine ideas you once thought you understood.
In the most human context, I could only compare this sentiment to falling in love with a person, not for their looks, but for who they are on the inside. That's kind of what it's like to discover a new country in the local language. I do believe it's possible to fall in love with someone who speaks a language other than your own. I believe this to be true because I've experienced it.
Joking with my father-in-law, settling issues with my children's school teacher, speaking to their friends, or even following the instructions of a midwife at Warsaw's hospital when my daughters came into this world were only possible by possessing the skill of a second language. In a relationship, without knowing each other's language, we would have been divided on countless occasions when the true unity of love was required on the most intimate level.
Fewer things are more intimate than spoken word. For example, I'm a totally different person when I speak Polish, and had my wife not invested in learning English, I honestly don't believe she'd truly know me. There has not been a single instance of my professional life outside of the USA where I did not benefit from having a second language. A second language enabled me to better connect with my coworkers, have a cultural fluency for the country that I live in, serve clients. Also, it's helped me mitigate some liabilities, such as being able to understand legal documents and speaking with tax authorities, which I don't know if you can mitigate that, but it's better to be able to speak their language.
Contracts of all types may be translated, but most countries' court systems uphold the original document in the local language, with the translation considered to be a convenience, meaning that in the worst-case scenario, you could find yourself at a massive disadvantage.
Taking on a new language is a lifelong pilgrimage. Not only do you have to retain a whole new vocabulary, but you need to utilize it with confidence. Beyond that, it's a journey that to a degree you'll have to go at alone because everyone learns at their own pace, of their own interests, and with their own inspiration. Back in 2000, when I started learning my second language, I didn't have cash for private lessons, so I had to settle with a do-it-yourself kind of kit. Back then, the only options were cassette tapes, which was agonizingly boring and difficult.
I was curious what modern solutions were out there, so I headed to Berlin to sit down with the creators of one of the world's most famous language learning apps, Babbel. I wanted to discover how I could improve my learning process and encourage you to do the same.
The mission is actually quite simple. It's everyone learning languages because it opens a new world to them. Ciężko nauczyć się języka na dość dobrym poziomie, tylko i wyłącznie uczęszczając na zajęcia szkolne. Polscy odbiorcy mają bardzo dużą motywację do nauki języków obcych i chcieliśmy jakby dać szansę osobom uczenia się, korzystania z Babbel w języku polskim.
We're in touch with our customers as much as we can, and we do events sometimes where, for example, we've invited customers to the office as well, because we really want to understand what matters to them, and we really want to make sure that we cater the product. And the lessons have been designed by a team of teachers and linguists that we have here at Babbel to really cater to the needs.
Well, we really understand the needs of Polish language learners. We understand that a big reason that Polish people want to learn other languages is for business purposes, for example. And so recently on the English team, we've come out with a few vocational courses. For example, English for gastronomy staff, English for hospitality workers, and English for medical professionals. Another thing we have is the voice recognition in our app, which actually gives people the chance to practice producing the language. You're not just getting input, but also output, which is 50% of the equation when you're learning a language.
All right, so I'm with my new colleagues here at Babbel, and we're going to do a little bit of a language lesson.
Czy mówisz po włosku?
Czy mówisz po włosku?
Das darf doch nicht wahr sein. Gut.
Das darf doch nicht wahr sein.
I am from Poland.
Jestem z Polski.
Jestem z Polski.
Very good. So it's really cool. It gives you a phrase from a native speaker that you have to repeat, and through vocal recognition, the application can tell if you pronounced it clearly or not. This is a really good thing, though, because it's like forcing me to speak clearly. I'll definitely use it.
Chciałabym, żeby każdy miał tak naprawdę możliwość spróbowania naszej aplikacji Babbel i aby osoby mogły przekonać się na własnej skórze, czy to działa. Żebyśmy nie musieli zmuszać się do nauki, tylko traktować to jako część naszych zainteresowań, hobby i faktycznie, aby móc używać języków w praktyce.
Niemiecki. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you for
It was
visiting.
a pleasure. It's nice to meet you. Thank you. Learning a new language can be extremely daunting, but thanks to advancements in technology and this amazing team of people, it is a feat you no longer have to face alone.